I'm really excited to share with you guys one thing from my study of linguistics that's had the biggest impact on my own language learning, and that's how to make any sound. In this video, we're going to talk about those sounds that don't have any significant obstruction of airflow. That is, the vowels. I've got another video on consonants. Those are sounds that have some significant obstruction of the airflow in the vocal tract. So be sure to check that out too. So for vowels, there's three main characteristics that we can look at that distinguish vowels no matter what language you're in. You can look at tongue height. How close is the tongue to the roof of the mouth? You can look at frontness and backness. Kind of if you look at the highest point of the tongue, is it far forward in the mouth? Is it towards the back? Is it somewhere in the middle? And number three, lip rounding. Those three characteristics are characteristics that every language in the world uses to distinguish vowels from each other. So let's look at height first. So take the sounds E versus ah. E, ah. If you look closer, you can even see my tongue much closer to the roof of my mouth in E, which is a high vowel, versus ah, which is a low vowel. If you go kind of slowly in between them, yeah, you can see your tongue getting lower and lower and lower. And in the middle, you end up with the kind of the vowel A, which is in between. It's what we call a mid vowel. It's the tongue isn't all the way up. It's not all the way down. It's somewhere in the middle. Okay, so that's the first characteristic, tongue height. Second one is frontness and backness. So take a pair of sounds like E versus oo. See if you can feel your tongue moving between those. E, oo. Going from the front vowel, E, to the back vowel, oo. And so this creates kind of a two-dimensional space where you can have your tongue more front or more back and more high and more low, or kind of at any point, any combination of like central and high, or mid and back, and different languages exploit all of those different possibilities for contrasting vowel sounds. Now the third, you can add on to any of those, and that's lip rounding. So you can have a vowel like E, where your lips are spread, or you can have a vowel like O, where your lips are rounded. And so you can take any vowel, kind of any combination of height and backness, and have spread lips or rounded lips. Now in English and in most languages in the world, there's an overwhelming tendency for back vowels to have rounded lips and front vowels to have spread lips. That's because it's easier to hear the difference between a back vowel with round lips and a front vowel with spread lips. They sound more different, and so languages tend to exploit those possibilities. But you also have languages that do the opposite, and that's totally fine too. So like French, the vowel U. This one also occurs in German, Mandarin, a bunch of languages. U. So to make this vowel, position your tongue just like the vowel E in English, but instead of having your lips spread, you're going to round them. So here's the trick. Get your tongue all set up for E, and then round your lips without changing anything else. E, U. You can do this with other vowels too. So take like the front vowel A. U. And you can do the same with the back vowel. So take a vowel that's normally rounded, like oo, and then unround your lips. Ooh, and other languages use this vowel. So if you're learning a new language and it has a vowel sound that you don't recognize, play around with it. You know that it's got to be one of those three things: tongue height, tongue backness, or lip rounding. The good thing is that one of those, lip rounding, you can just look at speakers and tell. With tongue height, you can make some guesses just by looking at them. So use your eyes and your ears, and then just play around with it and see if you can imitate what you're hearing. Try to make the same sound that you hear other speakers making.